We're learning that an all-party meet was called today to discuss the war-torn Afghanistan. The government has told the 31 opposition parties that the immediate priority is the evacuation of all Indians who are stranded in Afghanistan. Around 15,000 people have contacted the government seeking assistance in fleeing from Afghanistan. External Affairs Minister Devi Shakti affirmed that India has a strong national position on Afghanistan and all the leaders have similar thoughts on Afghanistan issue. Meanwhile, opposition has lauded the centre's evacuation efforts. Congress leaders Mallikarjun Kharge and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary were amongst the opposition leaders present there, as were NCP chief Sharad Pawar. The DMK's T.R. Balu and former Prime Minister H.D. Deve Gowda was also present at this meeting. So that's one headache which is off the chest, that the opposition is concurring with the way the central government has been dealing with Afghanistan. But first up, let's listen in to what the External Affairs Minister said.
I responded to everybody's comments individually, and the message which we all want to give you, all of us political parties, including the government, is that on this matter we all have a very similar view. We have a strong national position on Afghanistan. The friendship with the Afghan people is something which matters to all of us. So we approach this situation very much in a spirit of, I would say, national unity. So there were concerns. Most of the questions and issues were about evacuation. I shared with them that we have under Operation Devi Shakti done 6 flights. The latest flights was this morning, which took off at 3 o'clock. We have brought back most of the Indians, but not all of them. There are still a few out there. Some of them could not make it for the flight yesterday. But definitely we will try and bring out everybody. We have also brought out some Afghan citizens who wanted to come to India at this point of time. We have tried to address many of the other issues, like by instituting an e-visa policy. So the overall sense was that government is very, very strongly committed to ensuring the full evacuation as soon as possible, and also saying that in terms of any international decisions which are made, any gatherings which are there, that our diplomacy, our role, our interests are recognized. We are in touch with many partners. There will be many more meetings in the coming days. I think some of you know, last 2 days President Putin and Chancellor Merkel spoke to Prime Minister. There will be, I think, some other calls at his level. There are many other foreign minister calls at my level. So there will be a lot of activity on the Afghanistan front. But at the moment, as I said, our focus is on evacuation, and the government is doing everything to ensure that we bring back our people.
All right, Ambassador Veena Sikri, former diplomat and Vice Chairperson, South Asia Foundation, joins us on this conversation. Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, former Chief Spokesperson, Ministry of Defence, Indian Air Force, is also with us on this important conversation. Captain S.S. Panisar, former Director, Flight Safety and Training, Indian Airlines, aviation expert, is also here with us. Last but by no means the least, Mr. Habib Fazli Afghan, paralegal and foreign policy analyst, is joining us all the way from London, England, to have a conversation about this extremely important issue. Ambassador Sikri, let me begin by asking you a very simple question. Rather, it's an observation more than a question. The opposition parties coming together in light of this crisis which is ensuing in Afghanistan is only depictive of the fact that India is an exemplary democracy. We might fight amongst ourselves, when it comes to other issues, but when it comes to the safety and sovereignty of our citizens and our land, we are one. And this is something which is a strong message, perhaps most to Afghanistan and then to the rest of the world. We'll talk about other things, but first up, I want you to comment on that.
Yes, I think it's a very, very valid and important comment. And I would add that indeed it is after a very long time that the opposition has so willingly and happily joined with the excellent initiative of the Government of India to do a briefing on what is happening in Afghanistan. And not only they joined, they participated, and they have lauded and appreciated the government's efforts in giving this high priority to evacuation of Indian nationals and Afghan nationals and our friends from Afghanistan and people from all communities in Afghanistan. And it has worked successfully. And of course, I must appreciate the Air Force, Air India, and all the other people who have been involved in this. So all in all, it has been a tremendous effort, very successfully conducted, and very much appreciated by the opposition. It's brought the country together on a platform. It shows indeed that our democracy is live and vibrant, and we are very worried about what is happening in Afghanistan. Our External Affairs Minister has used the term critical, and indeed I agree, it is a critical situation in Afghanistan, because we are seeing in a few days this threat of stopping all evacuation, the threat of a terrorist attack at the airport. We are seeing that there's a great breaking down of communications within Afghanistan among the different groups, and we are seeing that all the different groups are pressurizing the government, and even our External Affairs Minister spoke about it, that the Taliban government has not kept their promises of the Doha deal which they signed with the USA on religious freedoms, on democracy, on inclusiveness in government, the women and children to be inclusive in government, on a peaceful transition of power. None of these promises have been kept, but for India, our friendship with the people of Afghanistan matters the most. Now this is very important. We are looking beyond the government to the people of Afghanistan, and we are giving the message, it's a very real and important message, that the people of Afghanistan matter to us the most. We want to keep up the friendship, we will keep up the friendship, and we will keep it up with all sections. And I must say that I'm very glad that in Afghanistan, the various groups are coming up. I told you that through the South Asia Foundation and my South Asia Women's Network, I'm in touch with a lot of women's groups in Afghanistan, and I must tell you that just yesterday, a group of women, leading women from the ministries, from media groups, people who've been in social work, they went and met former President Hamid Karzai and Dr. Abdullah and spoke about the need for inclusiveness, the need for women to retain their freedoms, the need for women to have their freedoms and continue to exercise the same. And they told President Hamid Karzai and Dr. Abdullah that we want to meet the Taliban. We want to meet the Taliban and talk about these freedoms, and we are insisting that we will retain these freedoms. We have also seen that in Panjshir Valley, the kernel of opposition that is building up, it's very sad, but it's the lack of inclusiveness that is worrying everybody in Afghanistan. And I think that today's meeting called by our External Affairs Minister would have sent this message loud and clear to the people and government of Afghanistan, that India is with the people of Afghanistan. We support inclusiveness, we support a peaceful transition, and the friendship of India with the people of Afghanistan will remain at the top of our agenda.
All right, absolutely. I completely concur with you, ma'am. Commander Bakshi, in terms of our resources and in terms of, the currency of resources that we are going to be using in this critical situation, how well prepped is India, according to you? Commander Bakshi, please unmute yourself.
That's right. Thank you very much for having me with you. Tell me, what do you mean by resources? When you're asking how well are we with the resources, which resources do you mean about?
Well, sir, to get our people out, sir. 15,000 people have asked for help.
Yes, correct. To get our Indian diaspora out, Indian Air Force is continuing working, but working is very hard. It's a very uphill task because our aircraft are not exactly safe. In fact, our aircraft are outside actually in Afghanistan. The Kabul airport is in control at the moment, there is control of the American forces. So our aircraft lands there just for about 10 minutes or doesn't switch off the engine, and people, our Indian diaspora, who are collected outside in a garage, they are rushed in and then they are put into aircraft and come out. Now Indian resources are there, but the question is ground logistics, how long will they last? After 31st August, it will all depend what are the changes going to come. Is America going to completely back out, or they are going to change the stand, and stand will Panjshir course and the other Jalalabad, all the people who are now putting up a resistance. Taliban has faced reversals in 3 places. There's no doubt about it. But how long will they last? At the moment, Pakistani forces are putting in more weapons in favor of Taliban and trying to get the act together. But let me tell you, moment Americans come out on 31st August and decide to become more belligerent, then Pakistan will be out of the equation. That is for sure. And it is that time that China will also wait and watch. However, as we have been told, and as Madam Sikri was just saying, we have to look after the humanitarian interests and the people, suffering people of Afghanistan. India can take a great lead in this. The local International Committee of Red Cross headquarters are here, Federation headquarters are here. They can be moved, they can be helped, even if they want resources. The question is, we must make sure that the suffering people are not out. But there will be a lot of catch to it, that a lot of European countries have taken the refugees and they have suffered. In our case, yes, this problem may be there, but here the intelligence work will have to come out very well, and we have to sift the hay from the grain, and we'll have to make out of who are the real ones and who are not the real ones. We'll have to do it. This is our problem, all right. But other questions arise: how much of help we'll get in this humanitarian task from other countries. Other countries are going to be with us, because at the moment interest in Afghanistan is Russia, China, Iran, Pakistan. They are all grouping together and even getting close to 1.6 million to 2 million dollar money from the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and all other countries. I am not counting Turkey and China in it. Their finances are coming through different route, and they are very large in number. So our problem here lies. We have to take humanitarian tasks, help the people out, but we cannot get into any military activity except if we decide to take POK. That is our internal matter, and we should have taken it earlier. If we had taken it earlier, Pakistan and Taliban could have joined together. We would have been controlling that area. But let's not cry over the spilt milk. The things are over. We must see how best we can play. But our security is in our hand. Taliban, once getting a free hand after 31st, they will fall under the spell of Pakistan and China, and Kashmir will be under great pressure thereon.
Okay, all right. I concur with you, Commander Bakshi. Captain Panesar, when we have to get our people out, we obviously and automatically will be dealing with, some sort of a Talibani effort. In terms of what the Taliban is and what it isn't, we've already enunciated that. We've already spoken about that in the beginning. What they do is very different from what they say. How important is it going to be for India, and how careful does India have to be when getting our people out of Afghanistan at this point in time? Because keep this in mind, that the Taliban at no level can be trusted.
Well, at the outset, let me tell you one thing. We are proud of our government. They are bringing all the people from Afghanistan, and we are very grateful to them. They have immediately taken a stock of situation. But I can assure you, Taliban have no value for human life, and they will not be able to rule that country. They will ruin that country. It is high time that we should spread the message to the international community to all get together and take control of the Taliban. I can quote you one incident in Peshawar. They killed 60 to 70 young children from our army public school, and Pakistan never said anything to remove them from their country. Now their aim will be to capture Afghanistan, then come over to Pakistan, and then they'll be eyeing on Kashmir also. This is the high time our government, beside doing this help, they should increase their intelligence and keep a movement on the border, because Kashmiri terrorists who have always been anti-India, they will immediately join hands with the Taliban. To that point, the government has to take care of it. It is not that last minute they should wake up and then start fighting, because they are here to create trouble all over the world. They do not know how to rule the country. Even their own people, they are killing their own people. They have no experience to manage the country and all. They will ruin the Afghanistan, and they want to ruin the whole world. It is high time our government should step up our intelligence bureau, especially towards the borders in Srinagar and borders with the Pakistan and Pakistan. Pakistan has already declared that they will take side with the Taliban. China is, and the international community should rise to the occasion and stop these people who give them arms and ammunition. This is the time they should, even the Russia and all, they must be supplying them arms and ammunition. From where they are getting all this aid, we have to approach those countries, impress on them to stop giving them ammunition. Even their own people have no faith in them. Their aim is to kill the women. Women are the most unsafe in that country. They don't trust their own people. They say, no, women can go to work and they can put on jeans, but the women say, no, we don't trust them. They do not know how to do. Their only job is to kill people and create a confusion all over the world. But our government should and increase our security along our border in Kashmir, Pakistan and all that before it is too late. Because those people have no aim and ambition. Their aim is to kill people.
Right.
And they have no love for life. They have no love lost for human life.
Absolutely.
We have to be killed.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. Habib Fazli, there are a number of countries around the world, Habib, which have said no to entertaining or allowing Afghan refugees to come into their own country. According to you, what will be the expectations of those Afghans who want to come into India? We have already opened our gates and our arms to welcome anybody and help anybody who wants to run away from Taliban. But according to you, what more can we do? Not that we aren't doing already enough as compared to some of the other countries, but what do you think would the expectations of the Afghan people will be from India at this point in time? Ambassador Sikri, in the beginning already highlighted that the association between India and Afghanistan is not related to Taliban in any way. It's the Afghan people that we care about, and that is where the crux of this relationship is also cemented.
Thank you. One thing, as the ambassador rightly mentioned, of course it has to be a people-to-people relationship, because politicians go and come, and sometimes unfortunately we align ourselves with the wrong type of a politician, with the wrong type of a political party. You said that rightly so, but asking expectations are this, that the Indian has been a historical friend of Afghan people. At this time of a moment, we need to help the vulnerable, the one that who worked in the previous government, sacrifice their life for freedom, for democracy, for justice, for equality, for friendship in India. Trust me, I'm getting, as a paralegal, I done so far 2,300 applications on the behalf of those people who are strained at the airport, try to evacuate. Other country and other countries. Because of what's happening right now. I mean, what I'd like to highlight here, since the commander, or of course he's got probably more experience than me, and ambassador probably more aware than me, what I'd like to highlight is there is a danger emerging from these Taliban coming back. I'm getting report that all the terrorists that were locked up by the previous government, that they were anti-Indian government, they were anti-Indian democracy, they were anti-Kashmir, they were anti-other places. The Taliban have released them, and now they're regrouping, and they're inviting the Daesh and IS from Iraq, from Syria. I'm getting reports, actually solid sources are telling me that they are making their way to Afghanistan. It will be a matter of days, not a matter of months or a matter of weeks before they regroup and they launch on September 11. It's just, the anniversary is just around the corner. What I fear, I do not want to see, God forbid, another September 11 in America or in India, or in Kashmir, or any part of the world. But if anything happened in Pakistan in any form, I will support it, because the Pakistani government never ever cared about the Afghan people. All they did, all these 20 years, they supported a barbaric regime, a proxy group who does not have respect for anybody, let alone forget about human. They don't even respect animals. I saw them yesterday, they were shooting at dogs. Somebody sent me a video. Because out of joy, these people are made just for killing Taliban. They're just a killing machine, nothing but a killing machine. And the individual saying, look, the poor dog is just lying on the side of the road because they have nothing better to do, so they start shooting at the dog. What kind of humanity in this? So I'm asking on the Indian government, I know you are doing enough, I know you did enough, we know for a fact the proofs are there. You spend billions of dollars in Afghanistan reconstruction. And namaste for that, and we greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
What we need don't leave us alone at this critical moment when we need you the most. Don't associate with Karzai, don't associate with Abdullah, because they are the core problem of the Taliban. Even the Taliban member yesterday said that Hamid Karzai, before Ashraf Ghani fleeing Afghanistan, made several phone calls. Why would you call in Doha several times and telling the Taliban there's a vacuum of power when your president is still active in the palace? So I do not trust Abdullah, I do not trust Karzai. I think they're all part of this pact, aligned with the Taliban, aligned with Pakistan, to destroy our land.
Okay, we're going to take quick concluding comments from all our guests. Ambassador Sikri, starting with you. Of course, you know, what's more worrisome, ma'am, at this point in time is the tacit support that Pakistan is going to be extending to the Taliban. And Pakistan is already perceived as a headache for Indian security forces. And now that threat is not only going to be doubled, it's going to be tripled, because we are also going to be throwing in Chinese money in the mix.
Yes, it is indeed a very, very worrisome situation for India from a security point of view, from the stability of the region point of view, and from the direct threat to our country, as mentioned so correctly by Mr. Habib Fazli, that, you know, the 11th September anniversary of 9/11 is coming up, and there's no knowing what kind of a so-called celebratory attack the Taliban may be planning. So it is a very, very worrisome situation, very, very complex. I do think that Pakistan's involvement is showing up every day. We even heard that just on 15th August, when the Taliban were entering Kabul, the India Visa Agency Office was attacked by Urdu-speaking people, and they stole a lot of Afghan passports which had Indian visa stamped on them. Now, this is another security risk, that they stole these passports and now they're going to try to get those people into India. So India has changed the entire system for giving visas to our Afghan friends, and we have got an emergency visa system which is being widely advertised, and everybody is to come only under those visas. So even from a simple thing like visas to direct physical attack, everything has to be prepared for. I think it is indeed strange and very worrisome that China is taking rapid steps towards accommodating the Taliban, talking to them, and certainly after that, you know, giving them all kinds of financial assistance. It is very strange, but at the same time, we are finding that the Russian government is expressing its own doubts. Our Prime Minister Modi had a 45-minute long discussion with President Putin, and after that today we saw one of the security chiefs of Russia saying that they're going to be very, very wary about recognizing Taliban. They know what the Taliban is and what it does, and they cannot in their security system allow anybody but, like the Taliban to come in.
Okay.
Iran is watching very carefully, but it is so complex a situation that India has to look after our Afghan friends and all the members of the minority communities, the Hindu and Sikh communities and all the others in Afghanistan, and then look after our own bilateral situation with the people of Afghanistan and our own security. And I'm sure the government is very serious about this, because it is going to be a very major problem for some time to come. But if all the groups within Pakistan, within Afghanistan, the groups who are being left out, the Tajiks, the Hazaras and others, if they all come together, and we've seen the women of Afghanistan coming together in no uncertain terms, this is going to be the thing that is going to keep the Taliban on their toe and make them fulfill the promise.
All right, we have a paucity of time. I'm going to request all my panelists to in fact make their concluding remarks, and no more than 20 seconds, starting with Commander Bakshi.
Thank you very much. At the moment, India's priorities should be very clear. Get Indian diaspora and Indian people and Hindu, Sikhs and all our supporters out as fast as possible, and look after our security, revamp our security. Security system requires a change of thinking, because we have to protect our Jammu and Kashmir area now. That is the second vulnerable point. Command and control system should be one which we have not done. POK we should start utilizing all the spots where Taliban element is there, whether we do strikes, air strikes or ground strikes, straight away, as much as territory we can take and get into a negotiating table and get our security strengthened and change our policies to look after our interests.
Okay, Captain Palin sir, 10 seconds for you, sir, and then we conclude with Habib Fazli.
Yes, sir. Our country has a big heart. We can accommodate anybody from outside, and we have been looking after. It's high time our government takes up this issue on an international level. and impress on the countries who are taking side of Taliban to stop supplying them arms and ammunition, who have no love lost for life, human life, children, women, and all that. It is high time our security should be increased, especially in the border area of Kashmir and country Tajik. Pakistan is a very weak country. They will submit with the Taliban immediately. They have no guts to fight out the Taliban and throw them out of Pakistan. China is trying to help them. Russia. It's high time our PM should take up this issue at the UN level, Security Council level, to stop supplying the ammunition to the Taliban before they create more hell in the southeast region.
All right.
This is the only government should rise to the occasion.
Habib, last thoughts from you, no more than 10 seconds. We have completely run out of time.
So, don't legitimize Taliban, don't recognize them, sanction Pakistan, prevent another September 11, and help the true heroes of Afghanistan to be evacuated immediately out of our land. Thank you.
All right, Ambassador Sikri, Commander Bakshi, Captain Panisar, and Habib, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us on this very important issue. Getting Indians out of the war-torn Afghanistan is the #1 priority. And we've also said that the opposition this time has come together and made no fuss about the way the Indian government has been handling it. And that's a very good start. It also means that this is going to be a seamless process.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.